Welcome to Pipeline.
Fortress 2.
After 9 years of development, hopefully it will have been worth the wait. Thanks, and have fun. Okay, maybe not 9 years, it was more like a day and a half, but I still easily went through like 9 ginger beers while I was making this, so that's gotta account for something. Regardless, welcome to Pipeline, my first of what I hope to be many Halo maps. I should go ahead and warn you all that this footage you're seeing here is not the final version of the map. I've made changes to it since I've recorded this playtesting session, and I'm more than likely going to make more changes to it after I publish this video, so just keep that in mind. When Forge first came out on MCC, I tried working on a bit more of an ambitious project, but I eventually had to scrap it for a few different reasons, really. And it made me realize, you know, maybe I should be working on something a little bit simpler for my first official map. Pipeline is a symmetrical map designed for 4 to 8 players, which works with Slayer, Capture the Flag, King of the Hill, Oddball, and Headhunter. Though I really highly recommend that you only play the team variants of these modes, because there are only red and blue spawns placed in this map. Free-for-all is going to be a nightmare, multi-team's not even going to function. So please just don't play it with any modes that I don't recommend. Or you can, but I'm not going to promise you're going to have a good time. Layout-wise, this map is fairly simplistic, really. A red base and a blue base where both teams initially spawn with a plasma pistol, an adjacent yellow structure on red's half of the map, and a purple structure for blue's half of the map, which both have a grenade launcher and a health station, and also double as objectives in Oddball, King of the Hill, and Headhunter. Along with that, there is a red and blue pipe acting as line of sight breakers between the two bases, with a little control room connected to each of them in the middle, which holds additional frag grenades and shotguns. These are also objective spawns for the aforementioned modes. Finally, in the middle of the map is the pipeline itself, which has burst from rubble collapsing from the roof of the cave. On the end of each pipe's walkways you can find 2 plasma grenades, and atop the rubble of the burst pipe itself you can find an energy sword. And along with that, under the collapsed area of it, there is a fuel rod cannon with 5 shots hidden somewhere in the murky waters. Lastly, in the rocks scattered around the map, you can find a DMR, a needle rifle, a plasma repeater, and a spiker, which of course are mirrored on each half of the pipeline for each team. Honestly, I went into this project without much of an idea in mind. I was frustrated after having to scrap my previous map idea for hitting the hard-coded object limiter for each, so I decided that I was just going to do something small, simple, symmetrical, something that would be hard to properly screw up like that. Because at the end of the day, I just kind of wanted to have a finished map that I could point to and say, look, I did that. And here we are now with Pipeline. Originally, I wanted to have the map use the waterfalls themselves as the center point of it, but there are a bunch of kill barriers and invisible walls in that area, which made the idea fall apart pretty quickly. But I was still interested in the water theme that I had going, so I just shifted the grids I placed down over to this little cavern, slapped down some rocks to make the map borders, and went from there. The first thing I did was build the main pipeline itself, which initially wasn't even going to be broken. I simply wanted it to dip into the ground, but I couldn't pull it off in a way that looked clean, so instead I just broke it apart and tried to make the old worn and torn pipe kind of my justification for the rough forge work that went on around there. My other big change to the map was that initially the pipeline was split in 2 places where the ramps up to the catwalks are now. But I decided against it because I felt like it made the flow of the map get pushed a little bit too far to the edges, and so I made the main choke point in the middle of the pipeline itself instead to try and move combat a little bit more to the center of the map rather than the edges. The vertical pipes were actually entirely an afterthought near the end of my building session. I was doing a little walk around the map to check for any big issues before doing some playtesting, and I realized, look at that, you can see the other team's initial spawn from your spawn. That definitely needs to be fixed. So I slapped down some various objects, played around with different shapes until I got something I was happy with. And I ended up having more pipelines, because, no reason not to have something help add to the theme of the map. Which is also how the pipeline along the top of the map came along. It's entirely there for decoration, of course, but it just does that little bit more to make it feel less like an arena that was thrown together and more like a proper location. That said, I think that about sums it up, really. Huge thanks to the friends of mine and members of the Forge Hub Discord community for helping me playtest this map. It's honestly a really thrilling experience to have people play on something that I made. As of right now, PC does not have a file sharing system, but if I upload this map on any forums or anything like that, I will be sure to link the post down in the description so that you can play this yourself. And once PC's file sharing system does actually come out, I will definitely update it with instructions on how to get it from my file share. Along with that, if you are interested in helping me playtest and balance future maps of mine, feel free to add me on Discord or hop into my Discord server. I can use all the help I can get, and I'm always happy to meet new faces in the Halo community. Along with that, I'm considering streaming some of my build sessions on Twitch at some point, so if that's something that sounds interesting to you, feel free to check out my Twitch in the description below as well. That said, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoy my map should you choose to play it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.